Okay, let's talk about the incident with Canelo Alvarez and Caleb Plant at the press conference. People asked me what were my thoughts on it. And let me first say a few things. First of all, a lot of people are looking at this the wrong way. This fight has totally changed and turned into something else. This fight has become a lot bigger than just Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. Let me first say that. This fight has turned into something totally different. And a lot of people think it's because of the slapping back and forth that these two had. And that's actually not it. But before I get into that, I would also like to speak on how Canelo Alvarez fans is looking at this fight. They're looking at this fight, ironically enough, they're looking at this fight, a fight between basically two white men. They're looking at this fight as Mexicans versus black, in case you didn't know. Because to them, Caleb Plant is a wigger, and he's from PBC. He works for Al Heyman, and as you know, they can't stand Al Heyman. So that's basically how they look at it. The proper perspective is how you're supposed to actually look at the fight if you want to go down that route. You should look at it as America versus Mexico. That's truthfully how it should be, you know? But in boxing, people get wrapped up in all the other shit. But back to what I was saying previously, the reason why this fight has taken a turn and has turned into something totally different is because this is no longer a fight between just Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez. This is boxing versus corruption, in case you didn't know. And Caleb Plant has opened up a can of worms that I'm not even sure he's fully aware of what he has done. What Caleb Plant did, well, first of all, I'm going to commend Caleb Plant for speaking his mind and speaking the truth. But Caleb Plant just put himself in a position where he can get shut out the game all completely. Because in boxing, speaking about cheating and steroids is taboo. If you notice, other boxers won't even really speak on it, even really to condemn a fighter that they thought was using it against them. Because they recognize that once you speak on it, it's so many of them doing it, it's frowned upon in the boxing industry, and nobody wants to rub people the wrong way because nobody wants to get shut out. That's why I always say you guys can talk about Glovegate till you're blue in the face. Nothing will ever come of it. Okay? Go back and check my videos dated. I said nothing will ever come of it, because if you unearth this, you're going to have to unearth the whole thing. Meaning if you flip one plate over, you have to flip them all over. And that's something that they can't have in boxing. And Caleb Plant speaking on the steroid use of Canelo Alvarez, especially being the engine and the driving force that he is in boxing at this time, that is it's frowned upon. So the reason why I say this is corruption versus boxing, because there's no way that Caleb Plant is going to walk out of here victorious. I hope and pray for him, and I wish him the best, but it's too many elements against him now because of that. They were already against him. Well, they're really against him now. If he loses this fight, you might not ever see this guy again, or holding a belt. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. That's the politics of the game. So that's why the whole thing changed. Most people look at that slap back and forth and think that's the reason for it, or that's the reason why I say it. No. It was what he said. Because if you notice, people don't really want to touch on the shit. From Leonard Ellaby to even Deontay Wilder in his situation. As much as he said, you see at the end of the day, he ended up being silent. He can talk all that shit in social media, but he knows better. This is why what Caleb Plant did opened up a whole new set of worms. So truthfully, everybody that love boxing and everybody who support American fighters, which is almost none of you, should get behind Caleb Plant, because he gonna need all the support in the world, because he's gonna have to pull off a underdog ultra miracle. Okay, you're going up against a man who physically got the advantage on you through PEDs. You're going up against a man who got the game in his pocket. You're going up against a man who's going to have the scorecards and the referees and all them in his pocket. You're going to have to box a completely perfect fight. And even when you do it, you're still going to lose on the scorecards. Then on top of that, Caleb Plant didn't take the proper channels to prepare for a fight like this. This is another thing that I talked about. And you just talk about PEDs to the whole world. The boxing industry do not like that at all. So that's why this fight has taken a totally different turn. And this is corruption versus boxing. Okay? For all you tribal race soldiers out there, you're looking at it the wrong way. If anything, you should be looking at it as Mexico versus American. Okay? Anything else you're trying to do is just some extra shit that you guys, that's that tribal insecurity you get. All y'all bring that shit in the boxing, and that shit needs to stay out. Regardless of how many times I said that I didn't want these kind of conversations and I didn't want these kind of people around or on my page. I've asked people to go to channels where they support and talk like that and this, that, the third, yet people still end up on this channel. So I'm a firm believer of self-defense, both physically and verbally. So eventually you come over here and you come knocking on my door, a tree is going to fall on you. And that's basically what has happened to y'all, which is why y'all begging me, oh, boy, Bruce, could you go back to just talking about boxing? Could you please, like, could you not? Okay, we get your point and this. Like, no, because I'm well aware that the people on the internet, you guys like drama and you guys like turmoil and you guys like chaos. And if you want to know why I say that, and the proof is in the pudding, if you go on Sport and Icon's page right now, he uploaded like 3 or 4 fights. They are the most underviewed videos on his channel. I created the Pedigree Lab. It's a really good video. That's one of the most underviewed videos that I've put out recently. When it comes to pure boxing content, you guys are not interested. That's just a fact. Go ahead and check that video. I don't even think that Pedigree Lab video got maybe 1,000 views yet. Period. It's been out for about 4 or 5 days. You know what I'm saying? So don't tell me that you just want somebody to talk about boxing, because my most purest boxing videos are highly underviewed. You don't believe me? Go over there to Sport and Icon's channel. He got a few fights on there. I watched all of them. They was cool. You know what I'm saying? That's the most underviewed videos that he has on his channel. So when it comes to boxing, I'm asking you guys, what the hell are y'all interested in? And it seems y'all interested in this kind of bullshit. So stop that. I want you to go back to boxing talking. It's all boxing at the end of the day. But nonetheless, this is the kind of shit that y'all are attracted to. Let's just be honest with that. All right, let's stop bullshitting ourselves. This is the kind of shit that y'all like. But nonetheless, when it comes to Caleb Plant and Canelo Alvarez, like I said, Caleb Plant got to pull off an ultra miracle. And I just don't see how he can do it by not taking the proper channels, by not taking the proper fights. You know, like that Caleb Truex showing. I didn't like that at all. And, you know, having to have to box a perfect fight and being the fact that Caleb Plant don't really got no knockout power, and you're going to need some knockout power to win against Canelo Alvarez, because you're going to need to leave him sprawled out across the canvas. And guess what? Even then, you still might lose. Like, hold on, Bruce, he could totally knock him out and still lose. I mean, what the fuck you think? You know what I'm saying? Because he's not just fighting Canelo, he's fighting a machine. You know? And he's going up against the corruption of boxing. That's why this fight is very interesting, even though it's less than likely that he'll walk out victorious. If he does, God is on your side. That's all I can say. But you have a whole lot to overcome, you know? And to me, this fight will basically determine the future of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Meaning when he loses, boxing it's dead after that. Now, I know y'all saying, damn, that's extreme, but I'm serious. It's dead after that. You're going to have to give in to all the corruption. Look, you already accepted the scorecards. You think that's the only thing they're going to get you to accept? So we can totally forget about this sport. It's going to be for the worse, meaning it's going to get worse. That's why when people speak on cheating and stuff like that, you know, you need to give it its space and give it some air to breathe. But as far as that fight, this is what I think about it. And that's why I think this is boxing versus corruption.